Technical directive or not, McLaren are an unstoppable force in Formula One in 2025. They have taken a front row lockout for the Spanish Grand Prix history, getting one of the biggest gaps we've seen all year on second place, with Norris not able to maximise on his second run. Behind Verstappen and Russell, exactly the same time. I love it when that sort of thing happens. And to talk us through everything from the Spanish Grand Prix qualifying, we've got Kim Hoefnagel back with us for GPblog on the ground in the paddock.
Yes.
And well, McLaren looking like they are going to be right at the top. Max Verstappen might be having to settle for not being a champion this year, Kim.
Yeah, we had a Dutch media session right after qualifying, and it became evidently clear that Max is mentally preparing himself of not winning the world title. Not so much in what he said, but the way he said it. He was asked, okay, so if you don't win the championship, then who would you think is going to win? Or based on their characteristics, who should win? And he kind of said, I don't care. Yeah, but Lando's your friend. Yeah, I don't care. It's basically, if I don't win the championship, who cares who wins? Which is, to be fair, an understandable position to be in. In the past, we've seen Max have this fire behind his eyes, and that's something I was kind of missing. And not saying that Max isn't motivated, because he is, but you can kind of tell that he's already mourning this world title, as if he's already kind of made up his mind and said, hey, I'm not going to win this one. It's fine. We're focusing on the next. So yeah, I think we need to prepare ourselves, especially in Holland, that it might not come home this year.
It's really tough for Max because he's usually got that little bit where he just seems to pull out at the end of qualifying. Didn't happen this time. But if you're thinking it's bad for Max Verstappen, let's spare a moment for Yuki Tsunoda, who definitely is proving that second seat is cursed. Liam Lawson couldn't do it. Perez couldn't do it. Now Tsunoda, a P20 qualification on pure pace. That's pretty tricky. Did Max have anything to say about Tsunoda's vast gulf to be that far back from him?
Yeah, so we all expected Tsunoda to have a rough weekend, especially after Dr. Helmut Marko said yesterday, like, look, he has a different type of spec. He's sliding a lot with this car. He might have a really difficult weekend. We hope we can solve it on time. Spoiler alert, they did not. Nobody saw this coming. We were all watching the qualifying in the media pen. In his final lap in qualifying in Q1, we suddenly had that yellow flag and we were kind of uncertain, is he going to be able to actually set a time? Then we kind of realized, okay, Franco stalled in pit lane, so that should not be a problem. Except Yuki still finished P20. We spoke to Max in the Dutch media session about this as well, and Max kind of said, look, Yuki's not, as we say it in Dutch, he's not a pancake. He's not an idiot. He knows how to drive. We've seen it with racing rules. So maybe we should not be looking at him right now. And then I asked him, do you think that the fact that another one of your teammates is on P20 shows how bad the car is? And he said, yeah, it's not great. So all in all, Max does not blame Yuki. He does not blame Yuki for being P20. He blames the car. But then, interestingly enough, Yuki Tsunoda showed up at our microphone, and Yuki, he looked really deflated. He blamed himself, and he was very upset with himself. He said, this is not the quality I expect myself to deliver. And yeah, Red Bull also feel disappointed in Yuki. So that's kind of interesting that Max is the only one showing up for Yuki.
It's nice to see. It's a really tricky situation for Red Bull. And it doesn't look like with this technical directive, so much fuss about it, that they're going to make that step forward to close the gap on McLaren. Let's talk a little bit about the other driver who's going to be starting alongside Max on the second row, George Russell, the exact same time. He looked like he was being quick, but his teammate, not so much. But it sounds like they're doing some teamwork as well.
Yeah, Kimi only had one new set of tires left for qualifying, which put him in a really difficult spot. Russell then said, hey, I'll give him a tow. I'll give him a slipstream. So that is really, really lovely of George. George himself also explained that he thinks there might be some opportunities tomorrow, but it is going to be difficult. And I think that's the thing for tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
You mentioned earlier as well, Franco Colapinto, the guy is not having the run of luck that he needs. And qualifying today, maybe he didn't get P20, Yuki took that, but he did get P19 with this car failure in the pit lane. He looked so dejected walking away from the car down the pit lane, head slumped, taking his gloves off. Did you get a chance to speak to him? Had he cheered up?
Yeah, definitely not. And understandably so. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but at some point, Franco was P11. And I said this to one of my fellow journalists in a media pen. I was like, I don't know what Franco's had for breakfast, but I'll have some. But yeah, he could have, I would argue, I mean, obviously would have, could have, should have, but I would argue that Franco could have done better today. And I can imagine that if you're having such a good day and then it gets kind of just ruined by a mechanical failure, yeah, that's rough. That's really rough. And yeah, it showed. He was very, very deflected. He just wanted to leave. And honestly, I cannot blame him.
Well, Franco, hopefully the day goes better for you tomorrow and it's a long break before we get to Canada after this. But it'll be a tricky day for both him and Yuki tomorrow. We'll speak to you as well. Obviously, came to get all the reaction from the race. It's going to be McLaren's at front and then Russell or Verstappen for the podium. Maybe even Lewis Hamilton. We'll find out. We're going to speak to you then, get all the information. Thank you for everything you've done so far today. And thank you everybody else for watching.